Hey, hello, you guys. Hey, hello, you guys. Welcome to today's stream. And I know it's been a week since last I streamed. My grandfather had a bit of emergency, so we were at his place, and I couldn't find a time and place to stream. So that was the reason. So we are continuing with the JavaScript stream, and um, we did a language overview last time, and we'll continue from there. So what are we doing? JavaScript data structures. So JavaScript data structure, data types and data structures. So I think this shouldn't be a very a new topic because we have like in the older topics this has been covered to a large extent. But we'll get basically I think they are talking about dynamic and weak typing, so we'll get more deeper into it. But yeah, most of the stuff we know, so we'll quickly go through it. So programming language all have built-in data structures but often differ from each another. Okay, cool. Language overviews. Okay. JavaScript is a dynamic language with dynamic types. Variables in JavaScript are not directly associated with any particular value type, and any variable can be assigned and reassigned values to all types. So basically, yeah, so as they are showing it in the example, foo is assigned to a number first, then it's a string, and then it's a boolean. So that could be done in JavaScript because JavaScript is dynamically typed. JavaScript is also weakly typed language, which means it allows implicit type conversion when operations involve mismatched type instead of throwing type errors. Yeah, exactly. So, foo is 24, which is a number, but yeah, now if we do number plus string, the result would be a string. So, and it would not throw an error. So it will handle it uh, by itself. So that's the basic thing, which means it's weakly typed. So it will not throw you type errors that uh, why are you doing this, and like a language like Java will do. Java is like very strongly typed. So there you will always face these problems where you get errors. This can be a very good thing, like, and this can be also like kind of an annoyance in both cases. So for strongly and weakly. So but this is JavaScript. Implicit coercions are very convenient, but can be a potential footgun if developers didn't intend to do the conversion exactly, or intend to convert in another direction exactly. So you must know that strings, like if you are adding string and a number, then it will get converted to a string. So that's the thing you must keep in mind. All types except object define immutable values represent tightly at the lowest level of the language. We refer values of these types as primitive values. All primitive types except null can be tested by a type of operator. Type of null returns object, so one has to use equals to null to test for null. Okay. All primitive types except null and undefined have corresponding object wrapper types. Uh, all types except objects are define immutable values represented directly at the lowest level of the language. Okay, cool. We refer the values of these types as primitive values. Yeah. All primitive types except null can be tested by the type of operator. Cool. Type of null returns objects, so it has to be used. Okay, okay, cool. All primitive types except null and undefined have their corresponding object wrapper types. So yeah, so which provides useful method for working with primitive values. For example, number object provides method like to exponential when a property is access on primitive value, JavaScript automatically wraps the value into corresponding wrapper objects and accesses the property of object instead. However, accessing property of null or undefined throws type error exception, nece- which necessitates the introduction of optional chaining operator. Exactly. So, um, um, like uh, let's say you want to access a method. Let's say you have a variable data, and data could be undefined or it could be an object. So if you do data, like if in the case it's an object, data dot name, yeah, that could be accessed, but uh, in another case when it's undefined, then data dot name would not be there, and because you can't access a property of undefined, so that will give you a type error. That's what they are saying. So these are the object wrappers. So null and undefined don't have an object wrapper. Boolean, object wrapper, Boolean. So most of them have the same object wrapper names, and null type is and that's why like for null and undefined you have to do optional chaining where you check in for like you basically write like data dot name, so you will write data question mark dot name. So if it is undefined or null, it will not throw an error. So uh, earlier before optional chaining you have to write if data, then you have to make that whole um, block of code, but now you can just optional chain it. The null type is inhabited by exactly one value null. Undefined type is inhabited by exactly one value undefined. Conceptually, undefined indicates the absence of value, while null indicates absence of an object, which could also make up excuse for type of null is equals to object. The language usually defaults to undefined when something is devoid of value. A, let a return statement with no value returns implicitly returns undefined. Exactly. Accessing a non-existing object property or object dot I don't exist returns undefined. Exactly. Variable declaration without initialization let x implicitly initializes variable to undefined. Uh, uh, is it so? Yeah, yeah. Okay. What I was thinking about hoisting. So it's not like initialized, but yeah. So if you have already declared like written latex, then it is undefined. So it makes sense. Like in my mind I was confused because I was thinking that in the case of hoisting, in like if you like let's say before latex you write console log x, then that will throw in an error, but after latex if you write console log x, then you'll get undefined, and that's what I was thinking. We have already done this in previous sessions, so um, many methods such as array.prototype.find and map.prototype.get return undefined when no element is found. Null is used much less often in core language. The most important phrase is the end of prototype chain. Subsequently, methods that interact with prototypes such as object.get, prototype of object.create, etc. return null instead of undefined. Null is a keyword, but undefined is normal identifier. That happens to be a global property. In practice, the difference is minor since undefined should not be redefined or shadowed. Exactly. But that's something to that's something like an interesting factoid type of thing, like not a fact but a factoid. um Boolean type, true or false, number type, double precision, IEEE value of 54 value. It's capable of storing positive floating numbers between 2 raised to, oh bhai sahab, oh, that's really large numbers actually, as well as negative floating. But it can only safely store uh, integers in range of uh, outside the range. JavaScript can no longer safely represent integer. They instead be represented by double precision floating point approximation. You can check if a number is within the range using its safe integer value. Outside the range are automatically converted. Possible. Plus infinity in negative values. Positive values power and converted. Cool. Plus 0 and minus 0 and negative infinity. Okay. The number type has only one value with multiple representations. 0 is represented as both minus 0 and plus 0, where 0 is an alias for plus 0. In practice, there is almost no difference between the different representation for plus 0 is equals to minus 0 is true. However, you are able to notice when you divide by 0. Okay. You get plus infinity and minus. Not a number is a special kind of number value that is typically encoded when result of an arithmetic operation cannot be expressed as a number. It is also only value in JavaScript that is not equal to itself. Oh, although so you can't do not a number triple is equals to not a number. That will give you false. Although number is let's just do it. Uh, I want to check this. Sol.log. Let's do double first. False. Oh, so if we get false in double, we will definitely get false in triple, but yeah. Hmm. Although a number is conceptually a mathematical value and is always implicitly floating point and colon, JavaScript provides bitwise operator. When applying bitwise operation, the number is converted into 32-bit integer. It may be necessary to use such techniques in several Boolean as offers many means to run set of booleans such as array of booleans and outer boolean. Bit masking also tends to make code more difficult to read and yeah, such as when each bit over the network count. This technique should also be considered when it's the last measure. The big int type, we have done this. So big int type is the numerical primitive of JavaScript that represents the integers with arbitrary magnitude. So begin you can safely store the operator on large integers even beyond the safe max. Begin is created on appending n to the end of the integer or by calling begin function. For example, begin. Hmm? Max safe integer plus 1. Suppose number on max plus 2. Huh? How is this working? Like, still they are both different number, though they are not safe integers, but let's just okay. So plus 3 is giving the correct answer. Plus 4. Okay. So it could be anything, like the answer beyond that could be anything because plus 4 is giving a wrong answer. So yeah, understand. Like there is like a logic to it, but yeah, basically it's garbage. Like it's of no use. You can use most operators to work with begin, including the one forbidden is triple greater than sign. Begin is not strictly equal to a number with some mathematical value, but it is loosely slow. So begin values are neither always more precise nor always less precise than numbers. Since begin cannot represent fraction numbers, they but can represent big integers more accurately. Neither type entails the other, and they are not mutually suitable. A type error is thrown if begin values are mixed with regular string types. So strings UTF-16, the length of the string is a number. Strings are immutable, so every time you like append or do something, new string is created. If you are, it can be tempting to use strings to represent complex data. Doing this comes in short-term benefit. It is easy to build complex strings with concatenation. Strings are easy to debug. What what you see printed is always what you is the string. String are common denominator for a lot of APIs input. With convention, it's possible to represent the data structure in a string. This does not make it a good idea. Yeah, if you can do it, does not make it like a good idea. It should be actually a good solution for the problem. Like don't do stuff just because you can do it. For like anywhere, not only for using string at as a data structure, but at any case. For instance, with a separator, you could emulate a list while JavaScript array would be more suitable. I myself like in C++ and all that, I use strings as a stack, and I've done that. But I know that using a stack will be a better option. And as a developer, you grow like this. You make mistakes, but you also learn from other people's mistake. And I guess I'll I'll also correct myself. While I don't know if I should take my JavaScript knowledge to C++, but I think this particular one I should take it because obviously only it's using stacks is in Java in C++ also would be a better option. Symbol type. Symbol is a unique, immutable. So immutable primitive type and may be used as the key. Of an object property. See below. In some programming languages, symbols are called atoms. The purpose of symbols is to create unique property keys that are guaranteed not to clash with keys from other code. Objects in computer side, an object is in memory, which is possible to reflect by an identifier. JavaScript objects are only mutable values. Functions are in fact also objects with additional capability of being callable. Properties. This is actually longer than I thought. We have already come to half of it. Um, but it's mostly a revision because we have done this access internally by JavaScript engine, but you can set them through object or define property, get own property descriptor, data property associate with a key with a value, actually value, writable boolean value indicating if the property can be changed with an assignment, enumerable con- the boolean value indicating if the property can be enumerated by for in loop, configurable value indicating if the property can be deleted, can be changed to an access property and can be attributes chain. Associates a key with two accessor function get and set get set. We did enumerable configure. We did this and use a map for storing arbitrary data. Instead, the map reference contains a more detailed discussion. Exactly. So don't use objects as a map. Use maps as a map, and uh, there's no more senseful talk than that. Use stuff that's designed to do or how it should be used. Don't try to hack a lot. Sometimes, obviously, only you encounter cases where it's just not viable to uh, like. I don't think it's actually in I don't think that could be a case because use stuff that's made for uh, like, try not to hackify stuff and hack stuff basically and try to do stuff properly. Uh, I have seen projects where they have hacked stuff here and there, and like they have uh, uh, like there was this project where they actually then for every query they had to uh, get all the objects and then they have had to like filter through them. So that was just uh, though it saved them money, but at what cost? So use stuff properly. When representing data, the best choice is to use the data in built-in data utilities and JavaScript. Index collections, array types of array, exactly. Index of typed array. We have done the schema. We have done this also. Set, weak set. Let's represent the color. Map and set yourself. However, since objects cannot be compared in the sense less than, for instance, neither does the engine expose its hash function for objects, lookup performance would necessarily be linear. Native implementation of them, including weak maps, can have lookup performance of approximately logarithmic to constant time. Usually bind data and norm node one could set properties directly on an object data. Allow also only allow object keys, and keys are allowed to be garbage collected when they remain in collection. They are specifically used for memory usage optimization. Yeah, so um, like normally maps and the key values of maps and sets can't be garbage collected, but when you use weak map and weak sets, they can be so. Structured data, JSON. JSON JavaScript object notation is a lightweight data interchange format derived by JavaScript but used many programming languages. JSON builds universal data structures that can be transferred between different environments and even across languages. See JSON. Uh, Type coercions. Okay, as mentioned about JavaScript, briefly typed and we saw what it is. So, primitive coercions process is used where the primitive value is expected, but there is no strong preference by what actual type should be. This is usually when string, a number, or a begin is equally acceptable. For example, date constructor when it receives one argument that does not is not a date instance. Uh, String represents date string while numbers represent timestamp. Exactly. The plus minus operator if one operand is a string concatenation is performed, otherwise numeric addition is performed. The double equals so if one it does not care about types. The operation does not do any conversion if the value is already primitive. Objects are converted to primitive by calling to primitive with default as hint. Sorry. uh, Methods in order none of the primitive conversion call value of before to string, which is similar to behavior of number coercion but different from string coercion. Cool. The method both empty object and empty array inherit value from object uploader which returns the object is since the return value is object it is ignored, therefore to string is called instead of uh, okay, this one man. Let's just. I was treating it very lightly, but then it turns out to be very important. Actually, this operation does not mm, any conversion if the value is already primitive. Actually, uh, objects are converted to primitive by calling to primitive. They were with default as hint and value of and to string method in order to note the primitive conversion calls value of before to string, which is similar to behavior of number coercion but different from string coercion. The to primitive method is present must return primitive returning an object results in type error. The value of add to string if one returns neither is present or neither returns a primitive type error for example. Console log neither. Okay, I missed to read this. Okay. Neither uh, empty object nor empty string has two primitive method. Both uh, of them have inherent value of from object of value of this which returns the object itself. Since the return value is object, it is ignored. Therefore, no toString is called instead. The toString returns object, while toString returns nothing. So the result of the concatenation is object. Cool. The two primitive method always take precedence when doing conversion to any primitive type. Primitive conversion generally behave like number conversion below because value of is called in priority. However, objects with custom to primitive method can choose to return any primitive data. Date and symbol objects are the only built-in objects that override to primitive method. The date dot product treats the default head as a string. Therefore, symbol the ignores the hint always. I'm actually a bit tired. I thought this would be like a small topic. It's at the end. We are at the end. So yeah. So just numeric question and other, but it's actually not that small. Numeric questions. There are two numeric types, number and begin. Sometimes the language specially accept the number null or a begin, such as array.prototype.slice, where the index must be number. Now, other times it may tolerate either and perform different operation depending on operation type. For strict question, this is that is not allow implicit conversion from the other type. See, is nearly the same as number question. Second, the begins are returned as it is instead causing a type error. Numeric conversion is used by all arithmetic operators since they are overloaded for both numbers and big integers. The only exception is unary plus, which always does number coercion. Other coercion: all data types except null, undefined, and symbol have their respective coercions. The same coercion boolean. Yeah, exactly. This this type coercion topic is a more experience, like uh, learning from experience topic and learning from what's happening in your code topic. And it's obviously it's like if you are an experienced developer, you should know, but I honestly feel that this comes from experience and uh, so, yeah, so some things that we must remember is two parameter and then the value of and two string. So that's something that's important. Uh, that's important to know. But just the questions are something that comes with experience, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, actually, because I could be totally wrong because like you. I'm also in my learning phase. I'm learning. We'll come to this tomorrow. I thought we'll actually do at least two topics, but uh, I'm tired. Uh, mm, the- Me doing this at the end is actually bad for attention. But it just feels very good to me that when I end this stream, everything is done. I know almost everybody, like whoever's watching the full video, no, though like 5 to 6 people watch the full video. Uh, so they also leave uh, till this point. But yeah, if you are here, then It feels good to me. Cool. That's it, guys. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.